So I'm Linda Davies. I am a Jungian life coach. I'm also a writer, and I am married to a lovely husband. I have 3 children, lots of animals, and I love wild swimming and ice plunging. What I have to do with everyone, whenever they come here to go swimming, I give them all cups of tea. And we've got a car that seats, let me think, 2, 5, 8, and everyone can take their mug of tea in the car. I call it the sand wagon because it's what we use when we all go. So it's really sandy and manky, poor car inside because it has wet feet, sand. I specialise in helping particularly women overcome obstacles, transcend the blocks in their life, and achieve their dreams, for want of a better word, fulfill their potential. And we all have these blocks and these elements of sabotage in our life, and I help them identify and transcend those. So what happened was, I got diagnosed with breast cancer in September 22. I think, like most people who get a cancer diagnosis, it was an incredible shock. I just did not think it was going to happen to me. I was pretty traumatized, and then you kind of accept it and you think, all right, this is what it is. I'm going to have to go through it. And you start that process, and I remember really not telling anybody. I mean, I had to come home and tell my kids because they knew I was having these tests. And so that was, a lot of tears. Sorry. Quite.
No, absolutely.
It's funny how it hits you. That was tough. That was very tough telling the kids. The hardest bit, I think. But then everybody rallied, and my husband rallied, and the animals rallied, the dogs and the cats. My journey was both medical through all of the treatment, but it was and very physical in terms of the side effects, but it was also a real emotional journey, and it brought so many silver linings. I received so much love. I'm getting emotional again. Yeah. It's all there. I'm fine. I'm fine, Sarah. Sweet dog. Sweet dog. Like this, just like love from a dog, You good girl. They know your moods, the animals, they know your moods. So yeah, it was a real journey, but like I said, it came with lots of silver linings. Before I had chemo, I had a mastectomy, and I was told by the surgeons that, and this was October 22, and I was told by the surgeons that I would not be able to go in the sea for maybe 9 months because skin has to heal, collagen has to heal, and when you're having chemo, you're immunosuppressed, so going in the sea is riskier, and all of that. And for me, going in the sea all year round was part of who I am, and embracing the cold made me feel good. And so I was pretty devastated that I was not going to be able to get into the sea. And so my husband said, right, I'm going to get you an ice plunge, and you can go in here whenever you want. And if the sea's wild and stormy and it's not safe, go in and plunge. So he started researching, and and I did, and I found one because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. And then he found brass monkey, and he showed it to me, and it was so beautiful. So beautiful. And he said, look, I think this is going to be a big part of our lives. I want to get you something really wonderful. This is going to be lots of birthdays and Christmases all rolled into one. So why do I do this? I do it because it makes me feel good. Apparently it gives you the same hit as taking cocaine. Only it lasts much longer, and it has none of the nasty side effects. So I'm going in, this is about 2.6 degrees, pretty fresh. Yes, it hurts, but I know it will make me feel wonderful. So here we go.
slow, controlled breathing. I'm keeping an eye on my watch to see how long I'm in for. I don't want to do more than 3 minutes. That is my target. So I'm just going to keep going with long, slow, easy breaths.
And then I remember one day coming back from London having had chemo. And I said to him, I want to go in the plunge because I don't want to feel like the person with cancer who's just had chemo and is bald. I want to feel like Linda, who's brave and who can do hard stuff. I mean, not that chemo's not hard stuff, but this was a different kind of hard stuff that was not part of that illness identity. So I said, come down with me just in case I have a funny reaction. You know, I didn't want to pass out in the plunge. Anyway, he came down, I took the top off. And the plunge had mysteriously turned itself down to 0.5. And I had no idea, it wasn't, my husband hadn't done it, I hadn't done it, it had done it itself, and it's done it since. It's got a real character. And it was thick with ice. So I said, right, I'm still going to go in. And I had to break the ice to get in. And in I went. And it did all its magic of making me feel good mentally. But I also think, and I used the plunge regularly throughout the whole 18 months of treatment. And, you know, I mean, I'm still having treatment. I had the last treatment, I had to have a bone density boosting jab in July this year, and that has side effects as well. So I've been using it consistently. And what's interesting, I got really bad peripheral neuropathy from the chemotherapy. So use of my fingers and my toes was compromised, and you know, I couldn't tie up laces and do all sorts of things. Anyway, I saw a medical acupuncturist who gave me acupuncture, which helps with that. And I told him I was going in the plunge, and I said, do you think that helps with it? And he said, yes, absolutely. And there has been research done that it does help with that. So I think instinctively I knew it was a good thing, but the medical profession seconds that and says it's a good thing. So physically, it's a good thing. But, you know, mental health, it was really important, as I say, because you don't want to be defined by having cancer and fighting cancer. That's part of who I am. It's not the entirety of me. I'm going in the plunge because, you know, there wasn't much that I could do that was massively life. I mean, you know, I could go for walks and I could go in the plunge, but I couldn't like jump out of an aeroplane or surf big waves or any of that, but I could go in the plunge. So that gave me that sense of being someone else, and you know, that was really important.
Okay, I have got in and broken the ice, and I am going to do about another minute in here. I have got lots of shards, in fact plates of ice. I am the ice queen. It is covering me and floating around. It's feeling rather wonderful, although my hands and my toes are now beginning to hurt. I know I'm going to feel amazing afterwards. I'm feeling quite amazing now, but my body is also saying, Lindy, it's time to get out.
How did you get into cold water immersions?
Oh, that was a fantastic story, actually. So my mother, who was Danish, loved wild swimming before, obviously way before it was a thing. So every year we would go to, we would drive from South Wales to Harwich and get the ferry across to Esbjerg in Denmark. We'd stay with Danish relatives, and then we'd drive through Denmark, Sweden to Norway, and we would go hiking and swimming. And the rest of the family did not like this particular aspect, but my mother and I loved it, which was we would go into glacial melt rivers and swim. The rest of the family hated it, but she and I loved it, and she got me into it. And so, and wherever we went, anywhere that there was a body of swimmable water, she and I would swim. So it was thanks to her that I grew up loving it.
Our thoughts create our reality. So if you think, oh, it's cold, you're going to feel cold.
And if you say, oh my God, it's cold, you're programming your body to feel cold. That's why I have a complete ban on saying anything beginning with C word or F word, as in no cold, no freezing. You can swear as much as you like, but you can't say anything about the temperature other than it's balmy. No, refreshing is better. So that's, yeah, our thoughts do create our reality. Invigorating is allowed as well.
Really good. Yeah, invigorating.
What is it exactly that keeps you wanting to go back into cold water?
Oh, that's a good question because I don't always feel like it. In fact, last week I was having a bit of a love-hate relationship with the plunge because I don't think my energy was very high.
Right. Plunge time.
But what keeps me going back? Well, I know it's going to make me feel amazing. So it is for that reason. And I also firmly believe that we all need to get out of our comfort zone in life. And that is a way I can do that on a daily basis. Because no, it's not easy getting into a freezing cold plunge and sitting in there for 3 minutes, but it is out of your comfort zone. And that's good for you because you don't know when stuff is going to happen that's going to drag you out of your comfort zone. And if you are able to navigate getting out of your comfort zone, I think that strengthens you.
What would you say to people that haven't done it or like worried of getting into the cold? What one sort of sentence or how would you
So I would say
encourage
make
them?
sure it's calm. Don't go in if it's cold and rough, so make sure it's calm. Make sure you've got warm kit to put on straight away after. You don't dither afterwards, you've got to get warm quickly afterwards. So get warm kit. I don't bother taking swimsuit off, just put loads of layers on and then get into a nice warm car.
If you just ignore the voice in your head telling you to get out for the first minute and then...
And go in with a friend as well.
It gets
Don't do it
harder
alone.
before it gets easier, as with most things in life.
The other thing that's really important is calm breathing. So people who hyperventilate, that is just bad news.
Another effective
You want
tact.
to do nice, long, slow, easy breaths and tell yourself you're fine.
Get the oxygen going around the body.
Yeah.
Another effective tactic is shaming people who don't go in.
No!
That works quite well.
What does the future hold for Linda?
Oh gosh, well, hopefully a long, happy, healthy life. I love my work, I love my coaching. I love writing and I do creativity coaching as well. I work with fabulous groups of women pretty much, helping them write their memoirs or biographies, and I really love doing that. I love spending time with my family, my friends. Cancer gives you a focus where you only really do things that matter. So I do things that matter personally and I do things that I think matter professionally. And it streamlines things. I don't do things that don't do either, It's got to matter. So, I hope lots more cold swimming in the sea, lots more cold plunging, lots more enjoying life, and please God, I'll have a long life.
That feels so good.
How are you feeling after that then?
Amazing. You just feel so good. I don't know. You can't always find the words for it. You just feel on a natural